Hey y'all, Dr. Amber here, and I wanted to pop on while my family was occupied to talk a little bit about default parenting and anxiety. And I'm talking about this for a few reasons. One, because I had a recent conversation about how anxiety keeps a mom stuck as a default parent. I recently had a conversation with a mom about that, but then also because I've been thinking a lot more about default parenting and just the different types of default parenting that can come. So y'all, I am so excited to be focusing more on default parenting in 2023 because I really think it's going to help so many of you. But hello again, I'm Dr. Amber. I am the founder of Balanced Working Mama. Y'all, I'm in my house right now and it's the holiday time, and so my husband loves to play Christmas music really loud. So I hope that y'all can hear me. You probably will hear some Christmas music in the background. My husband is in the basement with my kids because they are doing something down there. So I figured while they were occupied, I would pop on it and I want to chat about this. So for 2023, the Balanced Working Mama community is really going to shift. And even the things that you all will hear me talk about is going to shift as well. And what we are going to be shifting to is talking a little bit more about what it means to be a default parent and how that interferes with one's ability to find balance in motherhood. This is important because in the last year, what I have learned is that some women are able to find the balance that they need with support from our community, support from working with me. But then there's a lot of other women who still have struggled to find that balance. And it is because they are experiencing something called the default parent syndrome. And the default parent syndrome is actually a real experience that many moms have when it comes to them feeling like they have to do everything in their home when it comes to their kids or their families. You're done with your work, baby? Yeah. Okay, do you want to give it to me? You want me to take it? Do you want me to take the tablet? Okay. Okay, boo. You about to go back downstairs? You going back downstairs? Are you going back down? Yeah. Okay, boo. Well, thank you for bringing it up. Mommy's just doing another video. See ya. I'm coming back down, Daddy. The joys of motherhood. Hold on, y'all. Let me close the door. Okay, I'm back, y'all. Let's talk about anxiety and default parenting. And you know what? Whenever you watch a live from me, you gonna see that I'm a mom too, honey. Because my kid's gonna be in here interfering. You gonna see that I know what I'm talking about. And it's because, one, I am a psychologist who does work with moms and women's around this issue. But also because I'm a mom as well. And so I understand the experiences that you all are having. And I love to speak to them. So, okay, let's talk about anxiety, default parenting, what I learned in the last year. That's where I left off. What I learned last year as we were building the Balanced Working Mama community, 2022 was the first year that we had our community. And our community is currently made up of about 70 women who joined our community in order to learn how to have more balance in motherhood. And we had some successes. And then we also had some areas where I really had to sit back and figure out, okay, well, what's really happening here? And why is it that some of the moms have still struggled or not been able to move forward in a way that I felt they could? So from talking to them and also talking to y'all, like coming here, showing up on this app, talking to you all about the experiences that you're having has really helped me to know how to pivot for this next year. And the way that we're pivoting is we're talking more about default parenting, because I now see how if you are a default parent, it can be so hard to find balance in motherhood because you have so many other things taking up the space, occupying your time. And so my goal for 2023 is to help more moms to start to undo and unravel what it means for them to be a default parent. And that does require a lot of support, because what I know is that many moms have talked to their partners about their experience of this and they feel unheard. they feel ignored, or they don't know how to continue to talk to their partners about this experience of feeling like a default parent. And so I'm really excited to talk more about that, because I think there's so much support that can be had within our community, but then also with us talking more about it, even on this app, about what does it mean for me to find balance if I do feel like I am the one in my home and in my family that has to do most of the things. Hi, everyone. So what I've noticed is this, though. I'm starting to realize that there are different types of default parents, right? There's a big group of women who feel like they're a default parent because of lack of support. And that lack of support might be at home from their partners. That lack of support might be lack of support in the community. But then there's this other group of women who feel like they are default parents because of their experience of anxiety. And that's what I really want to talk about a little bit more today. I should have pinned that comment so that you guys could see it. But I want to talk about what happens when we have uncontrolled anxiety. Actually, I'm going to pin it so people can know what we're talking about. Today, we're going to be talking about default parenting and anxiety. But I want to talk about what happens when anxiety seems to be the thing that's really contributing to your experience of being a default parent. And again, this is not to undermine or dismiss the other experiences of someone being a default parent because of lack of support. Those are two different experiences, and I'm absolutely going to be talking to that as well later. But today, I specifically want to talk about anxiety. And it's because I recently had a conversation with a mom, and what she told me was this. She said that she is a default parent in her home for so many reasons. But one reason she started to identify was even when the support is there, even when her partner is willing to help, even when her partner has said and voiced, his desire to step in more, it is so hard for her to let go of some of the things. It's so hard for her to step away because of her experience of very real anxiety. And so this morning I did a TikTok about this, and sometimes we assume that it's just postpartum anxiety, right? And postpartum anxiety is the anxiety that typically shows up a year or two after you have a baby. A lot of times it's related to concerns you have for your baby. Sometimes it's related to other things. I can attest to that. I had severe postpartum anxiety related to my health and well-being. But a lot of times for many women, postpartum anxiety is related to their fears or worries that they have about their ability to parent, or fears or worries that they have about their child. And when you experience that, it can absolutely make you feel like if you're not there, if you don't show up the right way, or if you allow someone else to step in, that something bad is going to happen to your baby. That experience of that constant worry, that fear, that anxiety that you might have during postpartum anxiety can absolutely throw you into a cycle where you become a default parent. And it's completely unintentional. And it's because you are doing the things that your worries and anxiety are telling you. Your worries might be saying, well, if you don't go into that room, your baby could be hurt. Or, well, if you let someone else do it, they won't do it the right way, meaning your baby could be harmed. Or if you're not there enough, something could happen. That's what postpartum anxiety does. So something else I've observed in working with moms recently is that for some moms, it's not postpartum anxiety, and it's literally their general anxiety that they have had prior to being a mom that is just exacerbated now because they have more demands and more responsibilities as a mother. And so for instance, someone who has postpartum anxiety, it's possible and likely that that might be their very first experience of anxiety. Maybe for them, they had never experienced anxiety before. However, there are a lot of moms who have absolutely experienced anxiety before, and this now experience of postpartum or anxiety in postpartum is not postpartum anxiety, but is anxiety that has been there forever, right? And so that unaddressed, untreated, prolonged anxiety that just continues to manifest and live. It probably showed up when you were in grad school or when you were in college. That anxiety was present when you were a child. That anxiety was present when you were in high school. And you just learned to live with it. Now that you're a mom, that anxiety is there times 100. Because one thing that we know about anxiety when we're working with clients or people who have anxiety, when you have anxiety, many times you're able to live your life and learn how to cope with it naturally. Those are just what coping skills allow you to do. It allows you to live your life and still cope with your anxiety. However, when you move into a situation or a season in your life where the demands increase, when the responsibilities increase, it does not allow you to utilize those same coping skills that you had before. And so that is why many moms realize that once they become a mom, their experiences of anxiety explode. The anxiety was always there, but now they can't manage it anymore. And unmanaged, untreated, unaddressed anxiety is a big reason why many moms become default parents. And it is because that default parent role is their attempt to manage worry, fear, and concern. Ain't that a bitch? Ain't that shit? That's some shit, y'all. Like, how unfair. How unfair. Your body's reaction to having a baby, right? Your mind's attempts to keep your child safe can essentially and unintentionally throw you into a cycle where you then become the default. And so what happens is this, right? Families are systems. One thing that I used to love studying when I was in grad school was family systems. Our families are systems, and our families are always trying to have equilibrium and have balance, right? But if you start out your parenting experience, default parenting, because of your experience of anxiety, what happens is the people around you will get used to that. And that becomes the dynamic for your family. That becomes the systemic dynamic within your family. And so this is also, and y'all, this is all just coming to me, and my mind is kind of blowing too. And I don't know if this is like mind blowing for you. It might just be the nerd in me because I'm a psychologist, but this is exactly why sometimes male partners are resentful and confused when years later you're asking them to show up in a different way. Right? It's because it started out like this from jump. And here's the hard part. It's not his fault. It's not your fault. And instead, it is the way that the system was created because of that anxiety that had manifested at the core to begin with. Wow. And so this is why it's so important for moms to have support. This is why it's so important for moms to have mental health care. And mind you, our physical health and our mental health are so connected. So this is also why it's so important to learn how to have balance in motherhood from the start, right? Because when you don't have balance in motherhood, anxiety can manifest, and it can then lead you to feel as if you have to show up in these extraordinary ways that essentially just create a family dynamic and a family system that is overburdening for you. And what happens, and this happens to the moms I work with all the time, they do it for a few years because it eases their anxieties. It eases their worries. It almost becomes like their main coping skill. You know, I'm just going to do it because it makes me feel better. Like, it makes me feel better if I just do it, right? Like, my anxiety is managed when I just go do the thing. But what happens is your partner never learns the skills for how to do the things around the house. Your children get used to only you doing it. And everyone gets comfortable with that. And so this is often why it is so hard to shift that dynamic when you're 3 years, 4 years, 5 years in, because it's solidified. How we start our family systems are how they want to continue. And that is just how family systems work. So I understand why partners are resistant. I understand why it's so hard to undo and unchange these systems by yourself. It's damn near impossible. So I see someone in the chat saying that you feel so seen, and I'm so glad, because I want to speak to this more. I'm glad that this is like your experience and we're able to speak to it, because I think you would be surprised at how this is so many women's experience. And also the other thing I'm realizing too is that this might have been how they started their motherhood experience, but they've been doing it for so long, they've lost track of the fact that they even started out because of anxiety from the start, right? Anxiety is like the culprit of so many things, especially when it comes to how we parent. Many of us parent from a place of fear and anxiety, because anxiety is literally one of the most uncomfortable, and this is just my personal opinion, right? Like if you ask another psychologist, they will say something else, but I just believe that anxiety is one of the most uncomfortable and most excruciating mental health concerns that one can have, right? Anxiety is, because the thing with anxiety is like, when you have anxiety, you're still conscious, you're still present. So like something different, like schizophrenia, for instance. Someone might say, well, what about like more severe things like schizophrenia? It's uncomfortable. Schizophrenia is uncomfortable for other people. People who have schizophrenia, they good. They just want to be left alone and in their own world, right? But when you have anxiety, you are fully aware, fully conscious, and you feel every worry, every concern, every fear that you have and other people have. Anxiety is one of the most uncomfortable mental health experiences that one can have. And I would argue, and something that I'm starting to realize is that women and moms, most of us experience a very uncomfortable experience, an amount of anxiety on a daily basis. And it does not allow us to get out of our default parent role. That's my hypothesis. And you know what? In 2023, we're going to find out, because that's what I'm focused on in 2023. I'm really wanting to help you default parents, especially the ones who are suffering from anxiety that does not allow you to just let someone else step in. Because let me break it down to you. I know you don't want to be a default parent anymore. Because like, what the entire fuck? Like, let's be honest. Like, being a default parent, who really wants to do all that work? No, ma'am. It's too much. You have goals. You have dreams that you've put on the back burner because you're showing up for everybody else. You have desires. You have wants that you can't even access because you are so busy. You have your own life, your own body, your own mind to care for, but it feels like there's never enough time because you have to constantly do everything in your home. So I know that the default parent role is not one that you want to stay in, especially in this coming year, right? And what I know and what I want to explain to you is that undoing it and unraveling it takes so much support, because it essentially means that you have to retrain your mind and your body to sit with discomfort in a whole different way. You are going to have to retrain the people in your family to respond to you in a different way. You're going to have to develop a whole new systemic dynamic for your family, because they're used to the way it runs when you are a default parent. And that is so hard to do alone. But I want to help you with that in 2023. In 2023, our community, the Balanced Working Mama community, is going to be hyperly focused on how to find balance as you start to unravel and undo your role as the default parent. And I want you to know that as you start to unravel and undo your role as a default parent, you're going to need support. Support from someone like me, who knows how to help you walk through the strategies you need, how to cope with certain things, how to actually talk to your partner about certain things, where to set the boundaries, where to back off, where to step in. I can help coach you through that, and we'll have several opportunities to be coached and also to talk through your experience within our community about how to unravel this for good, right? But then also something that you're going to need is a supportive community who gets it, who knows exactly what you're going through because they're going through the same thing. And that's what I know the Balanced Working Mama community can offer you in 2023. A place that you can go for support and also a step-by-step guide and strategy for how do I actually begin to not be a default parent anymore because my anxiety has been at the core of it the whole time, right? I don't want that for y'all no more. I really don't. I want something different for you. And I'm so excited for that to come. I have another example of how anxiety has shown up for a mom in my community. She's currently in my community. And so I think the changes that are coming this coming year will be really helpful for her as well. She's a mom. She has a child with special needs, and she has a very busy career. And still, she is a default parent, and she has identified this, and her partner have talked about this. And so for her, it's not that her partner is unsupportive. It's that she has had pervasive and extreme anxiety for all of her motherhood experience that has not allowed her to step away in healthy ways. She experienced some traumas as a result of her birth experience that then led to anxiety to continue to manifest as a consequence of trauma, essentially, and grief. Like, that's one thing that we don't talk about often is when we have past traumas, and if they're unaddressed, anxiety will manifest in so many facets of your life. But also, if you have past traumas and they have been addressed, let's say you've had a past trauma and you've been in therapy. The thing about trauma is that it does do damage, and we can heal, but there always might be a scar. And so that scar can translate to you just having more anxiety than what you're used to because you had that trauma. So addressed and unaddressed traumas create more anxiety for a lot of people. And it takes constant and consistent support and intention to make sure that anxiety is not the driver for the decisions that you're making. So going back to this example of this mom, she has a busy career. She is married. She has a child who has a lot of needs, and she is ready to start to undo some of her role as a default parent. She's ready. She's been waiting to show up in a different way, but she has realized finally, in part because of some of the work she's been doing within our community this last year, that anxiety is ultimately the thing that's keeping her stuck. Anxiety is the thing that has not allowed her to move forward in a different way because of fear and worry and feeling afraid. And those are very real feelings. And again, remember, I told you, I feel like fear, anxiety, worry are some of the most uncomfortable emotional experiences that one can have. And so I'm so glad to support her in, addressing her anxiety, which she is doing in therapy, but then also our community helping her to translate what does it mean to address my anxiety and then make changes within my family so that I get to no longer be a default parent and I get to have more space in my life and feel comfortable allowing other people to take up more space within the family to support us all. I'm excited for that. For her, I'm excited for that for her partner. I'm excited for that for her child. It's so important to ensure that our anxiety is in check and is managed so that it doesn't continue to keep us stuck in the default parent role. So y'all, I hope this was helpful. It was just on my heart to pop on and talk about this specifically, default parenting and how anxiety can essentially keep that going. And so for 2023, I'm so excited to help more moms with this. Our community is going to be specifically focused on how to have balance as you undo default parenting. And I think it can be a really important resource for you for 2023. So what I will say is this. I'm currently getting ready to reopen the community so that you all can come in. If you feel like you want to join us for 2023, shoot me a DM and let's chat about it. I also highly encourage you to join the email list, and you can tap the link in the bio and there will be instructions for how to join the email list, because that'll help you stay updated with any changes or any updates that come as we prepare for this big switch in the community. Also, I just updated the website for the community. So you can also, again, go to the link in the bio, read about the community, because you will see exactly what we're going to be doing in 2023. I have a calendar I put on there last night, y'all. I'm proud of this little calendar. It has exactly what we're going to be focusing on in the community for 2023. And it's some good stuff, because those things in that calendar is essentially a curriculum that will create the Balanced Working Mama course. This course is designed to support women in having balance in motherhood, particularly as they are undoing default parenting. You need this course, you need this community, you need this curriculum, you need this structure to help you undo this, because you don't have to do it alone. So check out the community, check out the website, join the email list. I think you will be very pleased at how supportive it can be for you in 2023. All right, y'all, I'm out. I'm about to go. I don't know what I'm about to go do, but I really enjoyed this chat. I'm hoping to pop on more. There's so many exciting things that I'm doing in 2023 when it comes to Balanced Working Mama. I'm excited to bring back the podcast with a specific focus on default parenting. I'm excited to try my hand at YouTube. So if y'all like YouTube, get on the YouTube. I put that in the link in the bio too. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. You'll see some things on there for 2023 for sure. But then also shifting our focus within our community to really undo default parenting, because that has been the missing link this entire time. And you know what, y'all? One thing I will say before I go is that change takes time, and it also requires evolution, right? It's okay. You missed it. I'm going to save it so you can definitely go back and rewatch it, Felicia. Change takes time and it requires evolution, right? One thing that I realized is that the Balanced Working Mama community is going to be 1 year old in a few weeks. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for the transformations that have been able to happen. I'm so grateful for the connections that the moms have been able to make. I'm so grateful for the ways that this community has really expanded my mindset and my ideas about being a mom and how to help these women. And I'm also grateful for the moments that didn't go well. You know, the moments where I did become frustrated, the moments where I felt like we needed to do something different, because it has led me here. And so with a year under our belt, next year we're going to be even better. And I think us focusing on how do we undo default parenting so that more of you can have balance in motherhood is I'm excited. I think that's gonna be the thing. So y'all, that is it. I am about to get off of here. For anyone who's just joining and you want to watch it, I'm gonna save this right now, and I will chat with y'all later. Have a great Sunday.